Yeah.
Back to the grind.
Back to the grind and
Back to the deliberations.
Yeah, I wish it was like that. But I'm here and I'm hoping that everything is fine. Let me tell you what, everything was disconnected. I was on holiday also. I made sure I take my leave. And I know many of you are going to be asking questions. Why were we not live? No, I was out. As you can see, we're going to have one angle. Everything is back to factory reset. So I could only get up to this point. And I hope that everything is moving smoothly. One pair of hands, one person. I'm here now.
Meaning that you had to disconnect like all the equipment.
Yes.
And today you were working on reconnecting it again, resetting everything.
Yes.
For those who may be lost and not understand what we're talking about. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. We are back.
We are
back to regular programming.
At least I could say I rested because I almost divulged where I was, but I was closer to my people, so I enjoyed.
Yes.
I'm refreshed, and I'm hoping that Emily, you also refreshed.
I'm refreshed, guys. I'm sure you can see. Nyambona, amehlo are looking proper. Skin is skinning. It is glowing.
I was just sleeping. And I didn't know that I was that tired, or my body was that tired, fatigued, to say the least. Yeah. So I saw all the messages and all that, and people saying, "Hey, you guys, where?" I decided to just disconnect.
I wasn't online.
It's important.
Where I was not connected online. I was very much disconnected online. I decided to switch off for these 2 weeks because I wanted to rest. I was very, very tired, you guys. But now I'm back feeling refreshed and we can go and deliberate this case. Today what happened was just sad. It was tragic. It was the most saddest, draining experience I've ever seen or ever had to watch. I'm asking myself what is happening in this country, because what is going on? Like, I don't understand how someone can hold on to somebody's ID like that.
And just to say something, Emil, I implore people to actually, more especially our people, to confine themselves on what is currently happening here. I know it is tempting. I mean, sometimes we go and watch somewhere and check certain things and hear certain theories. It is tempting to bring that theory here. Please, Mzansi is this entity that is currently standalone. So please do not. We're not going to be able to answer some of the questions that you might have. And if you really feel like you need to ask certain questions to certain people, direct those questions to those people. I'm not going to say anything about whatever that could be trending right now. We are going to confine ourselves to this case.
Please, guys, let's do that. Let's stick to what is already in the public domain, like how we've been rolling with Mzansi Reality all along. I am skeptical with us introducing new information that we don't have weight to back it up with, if you know what I'm saying. So I always want to refrain to public information. And I'm sure you guys have seen, it's not easy. It's not easy dealing with this case, but we move, and that's why in Mzansi Reality we strictly stick to what is already in the public domain. Please. So yes, the judge said that at the last sitting, Advocate Charles Nisi had raised concerns that his client, accused number 3 Mthobisi Ncube, was being unlawfully detained, in a sense that he was only given like 1 hour out of the 24 hours where he could say that that was his own time in prison. That's how the judge put it, which I found very weird. I'm like, how can you say that that is his own time? When does he ever have his own time while incarcerated in a prison? That just doesn't make sense. But that's how he decided to frame it, and he said that it's the time when he's allowed to exercise outside his cell. And he also mentioned that he complained that he sometimes cannot have the opportunity to consult with his client, which is Advocate Nisi was complaining regarding that sometimes he has to jump through lymph frogs to consult with his client. It's not at free will like it happens with other people that are incarcerated in the same prison. So the judge said that on the last hearing he undertook, he said that he will speak to Judge Cameron. When he came back and he said that he didn't speak to him, I was not surprised. I was not shocked at all. Because, of course, that on the last court appearance before recess, he said that he was going to invite Judge Cameron. And did you guys remember him speaking about how risky it would be? I was the one who actually brought it up, that it's going to be risky. It's going to be risky to include Judge Cameron in this, because Judge Cameron's reputation is not that of covering stuff like this, or covering things that are not really looking like they present like what is right. I even reminded you guys that he's actually the judge that found out about Thabo Bester's escape and actually made sure that the matter was investigated, So from what I could see, his reputation is no to corruption. So the judge said that he undertook to speak to Judge Cameron, but he didn't do it. So I wasn't surprised that he didn't do it. I wasn't shocked at all. I was like, I knew that would not be a good idea. That would not be a good idea, in my opinion. But somehow he's found a way to come back and explain why he could not contact Judge Cameron. So already the vibe is that he did not even try to contact him. He said that he spoke to the Judge President first, which is Judge President Mlambo. And he spoke to him about this matter, and that he had intended to approach Judge Cameron in connection to accused number 3's complaints. He told him that Judge Cameron had already written a letter to him, and in that letter they were discussing the fact that judges of the High Court, when they make orders which proclaim accused persons who are detained pending them being certified to stand trial, but before they do that, a psychologist or psychiatrist must examine that type of person. And normally the judges only make a blanket order that the accused person is referred to Steekfontein, which is a mental hospital or mental patients, or patients that are going through psychological or mental issues. So he said, or whichever mental hospital. And sometimes in the system, the accused person are never again visited upon by the psychiatrist. So here, I was thinking he was saying that Judge Mlambo is the one who wrote to Judge Cameron. But Judge Cameron is the one who wrote. So he's the one who wrote letters talking to all the judge presidents of all the provinces that I feel, or to everyone who's in a high position in the judges sphere. So this is nothing new, because even before recess, Judge Ratha had brought it up and he was talking about it. So today he was talking about it again. So he was saying that Judge Cameron was complaining that the persons fall through the cracks because their detention is not defined, and he was insisting that maybe judges should make orders defining that this 90-day period what should happen and what should happen regarding this 90-day period, and preferably an order is justifiable to detain this person for mental examination, and it should be about 90 days. But at the end of those 90 days, that person should again be seen in a court by a judge who will determine whether this person is being treated or not. I, at this point, could not understand what the relevance of this issue of mental instability of accused persons had to do in particular with this case, but it seemed like the judge wanted to squeeze it in. For what, I don't know. You know, we will eventually find out later.
They are anticipating any form of defense that might come with accused number 3. But in doing so, they are not looking at the facts. And the fact is, you cannot in South Africa be in a solitary confinement for 4 years, regardless of your danger.
Highly inhumane.
Yes, that is as things stands in South Africa. Now they are trying to make it as if this is just gonna be the result of, therefore, you know, they are talking about the result of being in a solitary confinement, because they know that that could be used. You know, it can be used. So the judge is reading all these things in anticipation of that.
Because I'm like wondering.
He is not dealing with the problem at hand right now.
No.
That only accused number 3 is sitting in a solitary confinement because of this case. Yet, the danger was said to have started during Danzi's time. As in Danzo, accused number 1 who wanted to go, or Danz, who wanted to be accompanied to
the bank.
To the bank, you know, that's the start of this thing. Apparently,
that is the danger. That is the security risk.
And it's unfortunate that security risk, it was scanned by the same team of Gininde, right?
Yes.
As it is alleged,
yes.
That is the one who said this person is dangerous. So all of a sudden it's not in Gininde's hand, and now all of a sudden it is not an issue of everyone who's there in this court. It's an issue now of whatever prison warder or whatsoever that is there that is taking that decision. It's madness. It's madness. How people just get. But one thing that I keep on saying about this whole shenanigans that are happening in that court is one thing for sure. Rest assured, the ruling is ready. Whether you like it or not, the ruling is ready, in my opinion. Whether you want it or you don't want it, it's there.
It's there, ne?
Yeah.
You know, when he's reading Judge Cameron's mental illness, what psychiatrist needs to check whether a person is fit to stand trial, wara. I'm like, where are we going with this? You are bringing this up for the second time, and you are mentioning it in its entirety just to make sure that it's there on the record. And I'm wondering, where are we going with this? But I know that Judge Ratha doesn't just randomly mention stuff. He mentions them with the end in mind. We may not be clued up what is going on and why he's mentioning this, but there is a catch somewhere in the future.
The guy, it seems to me, he is taking instructions.
What did you think about him saying that he could not speak to Judge Cameron? The judge inspectorate.
What did you say? What did we say? when we left, didn't we say that
we said it's not gonna happen?
It's not gonna happen.
Were you shocked at all?
No, you shouldn't be shocked.
I was like, Nazo, I knew this was going to
He's always gonna come with a new
happen.
tune. Mm-hmm. Because the instructions, in my opinion, he thinks about things sitting there, he thinks is in charge. Then later on someone comes and say, but
maybe we should do it differently. And then he agrees. He's no longer hell-bent, because he was so hell-bent on bringing Judge Cameron to that courtroom. And now he's like, I decided not to even try to call him.
It's like I'm sending a message that I didn't do it, you know? Know that I didn't do it. Whoever that needs to know. In my opinion, it's a mess. This case is a mess. And JP, in the very same mess, is there. In my opinion. And his name keeps on being you know, thrown around. And it's okay. If this does not amount to discussion of what is happening in that court, I don't know. I don't know.
The JP's mentioned a lot with this
Isn't
case.
JP supposed to mandate you to go and do what you need to do, and then that's it?
No, they are mentioned
And then you have to give a report
courtroom.
afterwards on what happened, and take an account of the case. Do you have to address them every time? It's like micromanagement.
Even Maumela did not mention the JP as much as Judge Ratha does.
Maybe that's why Maumela is not sitting there.
Maybe. He did not. I did not hear the song of the JP with the other judge. It was not there.
What is this one is parading JP? JP this, JP this, JP that, JP this, JP is in a hurry, JP is in a... It's JP, JP, JP.
JP all over this matter, and it's quite
that JP might as well come and sit there in that court.
Might as well preside over this case themselves, because you know everything. It seems like every Judge Ratha is micromanaged at this point. One would say that. You know, devil's advocate would say that it seems like this micromanagement here happening.
His hand cannot seem to shy away from this case.
He's mentioned a lot.
Is this how other cases that are under him are managed?
You know, very many questions.
Or this one is a special case.
Maybe it's a special case. I don't know. But then he the way he spoke about it in Maumela's hearing, Judge Maumela's hearing. Do you remember that hearing? The way he was speaking about the Senzo Meyiwa trial, it's almost like it's a trial he wasn't paying attention to. In fact, when he made reference to the synonymous white cup that he said the Maumela was sipping on, he was called by the Judge Zondo. Allegedly, he was called by Judge Zondo, who told him that he was getting complaints that the judge kept sipping on a white cup. He made it seem like he wasn't following it like that, like detail to detail. He was not really seeing what was going on. He created an impression to me.
But showing up in court was another, for me, stunt that was pulled. You know, in my opinion, it started to worry me that we are under search here.
And then he came back that it was a normal thing that he did. It wasn't nothing. It didn't mean that Judge Ratha was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Hey, guys, it's a lot. Going through this case, I'm telling you, I feel like by the end of it, I'm going to need a psychologist. I feel like all of us are going to need therapy because, gag. So Judge Mokgwatleng further went on to state that Judge Cameron also made mention, and he said that this is public knowledge. He believes that some of the detentions are inhumane in the sense that they do not have consideration of the constitutional rights of some of the prisoners, and that sometimes the Bill of Rights is being compromised in that they're not given enough time to go and exercise, they're not accorded time to be visited by their loved ones, relatives, or wives, and that he thought that the exigency should be visited upon by the Department of Correctional Services, which apparently he did. So the judge further on went and said the JP Mlambo, judge president, when he discussed that there is this complaint about the human rights pertaining to the detention or confinement of awaiting trial prisoners or there are certain complaints which have been visited upon, for instance, by Mr. Mnisi. The judge president's view, which he agreed, is that this is a comprehensive question of the alleged infringement of the Bill of Rights. And he cannot alone, because there are 5, 6, or 9 divisions of the Supreme Court, which is the High Court here in South Africa. There must be a general dispensation which is accorded by the Director of Public Prosecutions. So concerning Mr. Mnisi's client, he said that he did a bit of research and came across this case. So the case is that of the Minister of Justice of Correctional Services and others versus Ntuli and the Judicial Inspectorate. So it was a case where the Justice or the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services was against Ntuli. I'm going to assume that Ntuli was an inmate, and the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services. I don't know at the time whether it was still the office of Judge Cameron or it was a different person who was in charge. So he said that the case was finalized on the 13th of September 2023. That is just last year. And the inspectorate, or the Judicial Inspectorate then, was Judge Cameron. So he said that it was finalized by 5 judges, and that according to him, it is the most comprehensive decision in South Africa concerning the Bill of Rights as it affects prisoners or detainees. He said that Mr. Mnisi, if he read this case, then he will be able to identify a question of how he could assist his client. Mr. Mnisi was given advice here that he needed to go and read that case. Okay, I was like, okay, maybe this is a good deed, until he started mentioning that the case was talking about a laptop. And I'm like,
Double best.
Mr. Mncube doesn't want a laptop. He just wants his basic human rights.
No, he's not. She's not crazy. Judge is not crazy. He's not misunderstanding the situation, in my opinion. The question is, what is he doing? Why this all circling of what you need to go to? The problem at hand here is that there might be prejudice on a certain client in your court with regards to the very same case. That is the problem.
Well, he said that it pertained to only the accused person or persons or prisoner who wanted to exercise their rights to study, and he wanted to be accorded a right to have a computer which he must utilize for his studies. But it transverses the Bill of Rights as it pertains to persons like Mr. Mnisi's client. Thabo Bester is the one who's fighting for a laptop in there, and he's not even studying.
It will be a better advice to him.
That case would be better reference for Thabo Bester if he wanted to fight for his laptop. But right now we're talking about issues where someone is saying, I'm on the brink of losing my mental state because I've been locked up for so long, for 4 years. I'm not talking to people. I'm looking at the walls.
Masarami, I'm sorry about this. You saying that you did not watch the proceedings. My brother passed today. Push my night family. It's a very sad day.
Sorry, Masrami.
It's a very sad day to you, and condolences. We are with you in prayers. As Mzansi reality. Sorry that it has to reach that point, and we hope that you heal, you and your family, and get better. We want you when you are better here. Take all the time you need. You have done a lot for us here.
Please, guys,
your family needs
is one
you,
of
our member.
Our family here, very supportive, and let us give her all the virtual hugs and love at this difficult time.
Yes, and those I think who can be able to assist, who are closer, if that happens. also
Please
do so.
guys.
We are very sorry.
So sorry, Masram. Otla loka. So the only way he can, he said that the only way he can visit that exigency is to bring an application to the court, as suggested by Mr. Baloyi. And I'm like, yo, Mr. Baloyi, here. Konje, he recommended initially that Mr. Mncube needs to make a separate application. Do you guys remember that? Seems like they went all around in circles to come back to what Mr. Baloyi had initially recommended.
Yes. It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be like that.
And it's not happening for the first time now.
It's always going to be like that.
It's very interesting when you observe it and you look at it happening.
Man is in charge.
On a public platform, of course.
Whether you like it or not, he is in charge.
He said, which will have to define his client's rights pertaining to his incarceration and confinement and study or exercise, visitations by friends, accused persons, etc., etc. He told Mr. Mnisi that his only option, as his client is said to be a security risk. Judge said whatever they mean by that.
Security risk that started with Geninda.
Yes. Who said that they were talking with accused number 2. So him talking to accused number 2 is a security risk. And then something about it going to the ATM. You guys remember that there was a time where accused number 2 was asking for his bank statements to be able to prove that he was nowhere near Phosphorus when the incident happened. We all saw what happened with the transactions that they shared in the court, which did not make sense. But we accept them because they are being read on the record. But we're not sure of that statement. Okay, so it looks like accused number 2, there was a time he was protesting and wanting to go to the bank himself and have that statement presented.
And guess what happened? Someone got solitary confinement.
Someone gets solitary confinement when he's asking for his bank
Sounds
statement.
like a warning to me. Warning! Lisa that statement when I'm fat.
So I'm going to make a speculation that perhaps accused number 3 is the one who maybe advised accused number 2 to get the means to get that statement. And now he's in solitary confinement. It's speculation, of course. But why would it be a security risk for accused number 2 to want to go to the bank? He'll be accompanied by correctional services people, right? Or the police. So why is it such a big hoo-ha for him to want to go and access his bank statement?
It can be like that. I bet these people, the power, and I'm worried about this power. I've always been worried about the power that I see in that court. Yes.
It's disturbing, to say the least. It's very much worrying. Watching it like that is like, yo, this is scary, man. This is unsettling. No? Well, he told Mr. Mnisi that his only option, as his client is said to be a security risk. The judge said whatever they mean by that. To me, it felt like he was showing no comprehension of what that security risk is, what they meant by it. He didn't even bother to find out what exactly that security risk was, because it's important in him justifying why he cannot grant.
It will be sealed
accused number 3
for all
the
you care.
application.
It will be sealed to what is it that they used to seal?
Confidential.
Yes. The intelligence sealing.
And it's also amazing how at the end of the day, what Advocate Baloyi suggests is ultimately the conclusion.
It's always going to be the conclusion.
Because
the judge can try to go the other way. In my opinion, it will always be a conclusion. Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much for your donation. Thank you.
Thank you.
May God bless you.
Thank you, Lola. Magwande, sisi lapho tata kwana, we thank you. Highly appreciate it. And I always become so perplexed, you guys. I'm like, don't you guys find it weird that every time the judge comes back, Baloyi's initial recommendation is the one that is taken. And I'm like, how? So we went all around and around, recess, 2 weeks in circles to come back and agree with Advocate Baloyi. Really?
Yes. It happens all the time. What Baloyi wants, Baloyi gets. In a sense, that's what I sense in that court.
So the judge said that Muzi should bring an application to court defining his client's rights. And he said that's your only option. There's no other way you can do it. That's the only option that they were presented with, accused number 3 and Advocate Muzi, that this is the only option. There's no other way you can do it, because the Director of Correctional Services is the one who frames these regulations which control the incarceration of persons or prisoners that are awaiting trial or those who are already sentenced. So Muzi said that he needed to get directive from Mr. Mncube. The judge said that the judgment is the only judgment pertaining to a Bill of Rights concerning what his client was complaining about. But that is what Thabo Bester was complaining about, a laptop. Mr. Mncube, on the other hand, is complaining about a solitary confinement that he has been in for 4 years. He's not wanting access to a computer or a laptop. So Gomezulu also had his own requests coming from Muzi Sbiya, accused number 1. And he said that his client was never given back his ID, and the children need to apply for NFSAS, the National Financial Aid Scheme for students for university. So they need funding to go and further their studies at a university. So the ID, this is the very same ID that the team of investigators denied having taken when they arrested him. Who still remembers that?
No, I remember that.
I was shocked.
They took it just to check.
That they have it in their possession, while they denied the story that accused number 1
told. And they later
told.
on said they took it just to check if it was the same person.
And now it's in their possession.
Now it has become evidence.
What a wow. It's evidence. It's
Same
part
process
of the
as
exhibit.
Danzi has his ID back. This one does not have it.
It's a wow for me. And I'm like, wow. So you guys have had his ID all along.
No, they did.
Yeah, ne?
Everything they denied, eventually it came back to be exactly what the so-called liars of the accused and whatnot were saying. Almost everything, if you look at this thing.
Wow. So Advocate Judge Baloyi for the state said that the ID forms part of exhibits and can only be given back on finalization of this case.
I mean, what kind of madness is that?
It remains in the custody of the police unless
What
the
kind
court
of
orders
madness
otherwise.
is that?
He said
Was
that
he caught for fraud?
Haibo,
Was he caught?
identity fraud.
Why
is it a part of exhibits, his ID?
What
He hasn't
madness.
denied who he is. He's
What-
not saying I am not the person on the ID. He's not denying himself. Why are you guys holding his ID hostage? Please make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. I am
sometimes-
welcome to all the comments that will help me make sense of this situation.
Sometimes I look at these people's face and I'm like, you still go back home, you sleep nicely.
In a warm bed,
In a warm
in a
bed.
warm house that probably has ventilation.
Maybe with
and
your
an
warm
AC,
family. After
the-
doing this,
eating a warm meal, you know.
after all this that we are watching, and you have a conversation as normal back home. Hey baby, how are you? How was your day? You ask that question. After you came from this case that is in the public eye, and what we're seeing there is a mess. You go back and chill. It's okay. I'm just dealing with these thugs. I don't know what you call them. Killers, if you like. I'm dealing with them. And then maybe, just maybe, a phone call comes in and you answer. Yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
Disturbing to say the least, but
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about me, myself, and how I would actually be able to sleep at night. You know, I mean, I cannot sleep just having a fight with someone through the way it's just fighting, and then it ends there. I can't sleep. I need to get to the end of this thing, and then this is a roller coaster. It keeps on going. It never finishes. It's a series. You keep on doing this thing. You keep on coming with these new ideas, and you still go and sleep properly, chill. We are more than animals sometimes, in my opinion. As people, futhi thina ke. When I say as people, thina bantu abansundu, see worse.
Like the things we're doing to each other, they're scary, man.
They are tools sometimes, and I mean all of us. I'm not talking about anyone here. I'm just saying all of us. Think about the things that we have done to each other, stabbing each other's back to get into the top, doing. We are our worst enemy.
Stupid stuff.
You know, the people that we say, yeah, these people are dangerous, are watching us tear each other apart. We just don't need them to actually tear us apart. We need listening to this request on the basis that this ID is required by a kid that could have a future to apply for NSFAS at varsity, because the father cannot go to work and work for the kids. He's in jail, and it all started through this case. Not only now it is affecting them financially, now it is actually denying them even the support they can get. And the judge says, no, I can even draft a letter. So now you want to draft a letter to NSFAS. Do you think NSFAS is going to look at that?
They don't care for that.
They don't care.
They check the
they
documents.
Only need an
as
ID. And if the ID is not
they
there,
want a copy
decline.
of your father's ID. They want a copy of your father's ID. They do not care whether they are in jail or whether whatever excuse that you're going to say, whether a detective Bani or a brigadier Tonton has the ID. They don't care. Go NFCS.
One day
they're just going to mark it with an X and they reject your application.
One day we will be sitting here analyzing perhaps one of the cases done by these kids that had a future. But they were denied the future because they did not have an ID of their father. They did not have the support of their father, the work that the father was supposed to do. They don't have that.
Man, this is cruel, man.
And you are sitting there in court speaking nice English.
No, this is cruel.
Your kids are going to, if you have them,
beyond
to
cruel.
A nice school.
It's not enough that they are attending trial and you've got them where you want them. Now their children must suffer too. Oh, guys. Where do we draw the line? Did the children commit the crime?
I mean, you stand up in court, you say, this is the exhibit.
How?
Since when is someone's ID an exhibit? If they haven't committed any identity theft and anything related to it, how can that be an exhibit? And what does it explain, that this exhibit? What does it say?
You know, the exercise of power. Listen to Baloyi saying that they explained to him that he should make a written request as indicated by the investigating officer. So they have to write to Brigadier Kininda to have the ID given to his children so that they can apply for NFSAS. Guys, where does this happen? Like, I don't understand. I'm so gobsmacked. I don't understand what is going on here, because how does an investigating officer receive written requests from the accused while he's asking for permission to have his ID back so that his children can apply for financial aid. How does that work? It's like, come to my feet, grovel, kiss my feet. It's giving that, in my opinion. So I don't understand what law it is. Someone has to explain it to me because I don't get it. What law is that? What textbook is it in?
And if
I
this
don't
thing is an
understand
exhibit,
it.
what purpose does it play there?
I don't get it.
What? Because you cannot say they said they took an ID. Here's an ID. They said they did not take any ID initially. Now it is an exhibit. What is it proving? That they did take it? They lied? What is the point of this? And if they say we took an ID, okay, what about Ndanzi's one? You took it too, the same way you did to accuse them. Almost, it's a replica. It's like the affidavits of these so-called experts, opinionists, whatsoever, if there is a word like that.
And you know what the strange part is? They are being treated as if they are already convicted for this case. They are not treated like persons awaiting trial for this case, or that they are attending trial for this case. They are treated like already they are convicted for this case in particular, which is very strange. It's very strange because they still have rights in a sense that they are not yet convicted for this case. They are proving their case. But how they are treated is almost like they are already in jail or they are already convicted and they are being trialed after their conviction. It's so strange.
Very strange.
I don't understand what is going on with this case. It's confusing me. So Baloyi said that once a written request is written by Mr. Mgomezulu, then the investigating team can take it from there. He must set out the reasons why the exhibits should be released at this point in time. Mgomezulu and Muzi asked to approach their clients, and Mgomezulu said that his instructions further is that an exceptional case, or that this is an exceptional case where the application has already been made to various universities. So they require that identity document. And he further told him that when he was arrested, upon taking that ID, he was not arrested for this case. He was arrested for the matter that has been finalized, the Tembisa matter, the one of possession of illegal substances and ammunition. Do you guys remember that? That's case that they said initially they were arresting him for on the 30th of May. So Baloyi at this point smiled and got up and said that evidence is on record as to what happened on the 30th of May 2020 when accused number 1 was arrested. It was for the Tembisa case, but that was after the investigating team did an analysis and profiling of the accused regarding the current case. So it is part and participle of the exhibits in the current matter. The judge asked if he was not able to make a copy and certify it. Baloyi said that he didn't think that there would be a problem, but a certain procedure had to be followed. There must be a record kept of any exhibits that is disposed of. And he's sure if he were to follow that procedure, he doesn't think that there will be any problem. He said that the matter is being raised prematurely, and this is also affecting his kids carving out futures for themselves, in my opinion. All of this having to write the procedure. Really? So only if we don't reach an agreement, he said, can this matter be brought to the attention of the court.
I wonder what is that agreement?
You know, like NFSAS will be waiting for you guys to finalize and to respond to letters and stuff. Like NFSAS will be waiting for you guys to do that, right? They will just wait for you to finalize. And even if you finalize in January, it's fine. I mean, we know how these things goes in this court. In this court in particular, you make a request today and you'll get it next year. It's around about this time next year. We've seen it happen so many times, including with the bank statements of accused number 2. By the time they came, it was already so late. And even it being late, we are not even sure of what was being read on the record. It was kind of dodgy, to say the least, because the man had gotten paid. It was end of the month, but there were no transactions to prove that he spent money that he was paid. So that was weird. But we will never know, shall we? Well, he said that he's not sure and will be able to find each other. So he said he's not sure. So to me, this sounds like, when someone has your thing and they are making you beg for it. This is what it was giving. It was pretty much giving that. So the judge said, yeah, man, please, man. And to me, it seemed like he was rather annoyed. I don't know whether I was reading him correctly or what, but I felt like this ID thing, maybe he can't say anything, but it feels like it's a bit of a stretch. To me, it feels like it's a bit of a stretch, but I was just wondering around that time when Judge Ratha was like, yeah, man, please, man, as if maybe he's responding this way because maybe he's annoyed as well.
No. In my opinion, it's just annoyed by the submission. In my opinion, just finish it up,
Why not give them the ID? Just give them the ID. That's what it felt like.
It doesn't look like that to me. Doesn't look like that. But let's like the video, guys. I see we are heading to 400. We still having 197. Those who probably forgot, please like the video. Welcome us properly, guys. It's been a while. Please push that like to make it easier for the morning gang. You know how it is. We know how we roll.
Yes, you know how we roll. So Mnisi at this time was putting up a fight. He put up a fight and he said that his client cannot take it anymore. He has been in that position for 4 years in prison. And Mnisi said that his client wants the trial to stop. The judge had a problem with this word in particular, stop. He made mention of a particular political party. I don't know which one he was talking about, but yes, he had a problem with the word stop.
Yeah, the ID might be lost. I mean, someone is saying that. You might have a point there. The ID might be lost. And what might happen is that after that submission, they might then take Ntanzi to make a new ID. I mean, this Muzi to make a new ID, in my opinion. But also, there are many reasons why you can hold an ID to actually maybe open certain things, maybe opening up or create a situation where it proves financially that there was money that wasn't. There are a lot of things that you can do with someone's ID, more so if you are connected. I'm just saying, but it seems to me the ID was lost. That I can live with that, and no one can actually account for it. Or if it's there, which was it shown as an exhibit?
No, I can confidently say no. I don't recall such being presented as evidence as an exhibit in court. Muzi Sibia, accused number 1's ID. No. So accused number 3, Mtobisi Mncube, was complaining about his conditions in prison, and Mnisi said that he's asking to be afforded an opportunity to get an attorney for that application. So Mnisi said that he cannot assist with drafting the application and then also be expected to deal with the proceedings in this case. He said he won't be able to confront 2 fronts at a go. So the judge asked Mnisi if he wanted this trial to be terminated since he used the word stop. Now Mnisi had to take that word back and rephrase it. He was saying that he would like to be afforded an opportunity to try and get an attorney through his family for him to be able to fight this battle, which is such a mammoth battle. And it's for this trial to be suspended for a while. So the judge said that he had never heard of such a request for proceedings to be suspended on those bases. So Mnisi said that he wanted to explain the following, that it's probably for the first time that he's meeting a situation where a person is held in solitary confinement for 4 years. The judge said that he had just went out of his way. He said, no judge will do what I did, research the law and come with a CSA decision to him. He said that the matter he made an example of has just been taken on appeal to the Constitutional Court. So he was literally saying, Nisi, I did your job for you. I went all out. And I came and brought you a case that you can use to make your application. That's an insult to me, in my opinion. You're literally telling him I did your job for you.
What job? What job? Is it Nisi's job to deal with the solitary confinement? It's a separate thing. It's a separate thing that is failing to solve in any case, even if it's brought before for him. As he said, he would do anything to assist these people for them to be treated properly. It's failing.
You know, would it be a train smash? I mean, I've seen other judges do it. Order, take this person out of solitary confinement. Or bring back the ID of Mr. Accused number. It's not presented in court yet as an exhibit. Please give him his ID so that his child can go in. Would it be so difficult for the judge to be a judge and to just judge on such matters? But no. In this case, it seems like the judge has no say. They really don't have any say.
And he pretends as if he has a say.
And he pretends like he has it, but it seems like he doesn't have it. Can we be honest?
Baloyi can literally toy with people, in my opinion. Toy with these people.
Well, the judge said that the case is the most relevant and he doesn't know what the Constitutional Court will do in that appeal. So Muzi said that the circumstances of this case are different in that somebody who is not held in solitary confinement is requesting, for staff or machines and stuff to study, a laptop. But here we are talking of a person who is mentally drained in solitary confinement with no access to a television, radio, a newspaper. He's expected to formulate a defense in a case of such magnitude. That is totally unfair. The cases are totally distinguishable. And the judge said, no. Are you saying that to just draft the founding affidavit challenging the conditions under which he's being incarcerated, you want this trial to stop? Making it seem like it's an easy thing to sit down and draft an application. Do you know that lawyers actually have to sit down for hours on end to...
Oh, they are saying it will be easier for a lawyer, but not for a layperson, because Nisi is not part of that, in a sense. He's
by
just
saying
doing
that the application should be separate, Mr. Baloyi, you've actually separated Mr. Nisi from that process. Right?
Exactly.
Right. So Nisi said that he's only conveying what his client is requesting. Even his funding in this case is done by legal aid, and the judge said that he can apply for legal aid again. It's not a problem. Nisi said that he's not even sure whether they'll be able to do that, but he will try. He will communicate with them during lunchtime, and if circumstances permit, he will bring the answer after lunchtime. So the judge said that he could tell him now that the interest of justice does not allow that request. He said that the cases of 5 accused persons before him, complainants, witnesses, even himself, he can't be sitting on this case until he dies. Nisi suggested that they apply for a separation of trial to afford him the opportunity to attend whatever he wanted to attend, avoiding prejudicing the other accused. Well, the judge asked that if he wants a separation of trial, then what happens to the evidence which has been led? And I actually thought about it. I'm like, what actually happens? Because right now, the firearm is that of accused number 3. So what happens when accused number 3 applies for a separation of trial? Does that mean this whole case is shattered? Does it mean that...
They will refuse to separate it.
They refuse. He refused. He said it's already late. It's late for... He has never heard of a situation where there's a separation of trial at this stage. It's late. Muzi asked the court if it understood what's staying in solitary confinement for 4 years does to the mind of a person, and the judge said that that is why he was concerned, and he engaged the JP, who ultimately suggested what Baloyi suggested. He engaged the Directorate of Inspections, but actually he never did that. That's Judge Cameron. He said he never talked to him. He said he even went to the law, and this is not a difficult application. It concerns a Bill of Rights. That's all it concerns. Nisi said that it might not be a difficult application to a person that knows the law, but a person like Mr. Mncube, it will be difficult. And the judge said that Nisi knew the law. So Nisi repeated to him that he's not prepared to concentrate on this trial and also concentrate on a separate application. So the judge said that he cannot accede to that, and he cannot allow that a separation of trial or for the trial to stop. So this is much coming from a person who was speaking on Judge Cameron's recommendations of psychologists and psychiatrists and how prisoners should be treated and stuff. But that's just merely my opinion. Well, Nisi said, let me take instructions. And he approached his client, and Mgomezulu stood up while he had gone to consult with his client. And he said that the instructions from accused number 1 was that the state wanted to rely on Section 31 to keep the exhibit until the finalization of the matter, which was not the same position with accused number 2. So it turns out accused number 2, when he was arrested, the state took his ID and then it was given back to him. So he found no reason why the state should keep the ID of accused number 1, because there will be no prejudice if such a document is presented, and there's already evidence that has been led regarding the ID of the accused that cannot be hampered with. So Baloyi still refused, and he said that he should write an email and state the reasons. Then the court will be approached if they don't reach an agreement. So he said that he's hopeful that they will reach an agreement. The judge said that he was prepared to make an order that the ID has a SAP 13 number in the custody of the police. But now that someone has just mentioned it, the ID could be lost. Now that you mention it, you know, it could be, Mr. Anonymous, that ID
It's not there.
is not there. Well, then Nisi said that his instruction was that his client has been in solitary confinement since his arrest in 2019, and people have come in, went out. Some people have even reoffended, stepped police and other inmates have gone in and went out. Now he says that one of the reasons why he's kept in solitary confinement is because of this case. He says that his co-accused are not in solitary confinement for this case. And he insists that can the court have mercy and compassion to allow him the opportunity to go and be allowed to go and attend to his situation. He said he cannot even concentrate on this case because each time he comes there, he has to think about the conditions where he's housed as to why this injustice is being perpetrated. When he leaves here, he hardly has time to think about what has been happening in court for that day because he spends most of his time in solitary confinement thinking about his agony. The judge said that he was going to let him bring an urgent application, and he said that there's nothing the court can do. I wasn't surprised. I was not shocked at all. I kind of expected this because he said that the Commissioner of Correctional Services has made an order. Now, when he says the Commissioner of Correctional Services has made an order, he's actually referring to that case he was quoting. He was not referring to the actual commissioner making that order. He was referring to that case he was quoting. Then he asked Baloyi if he's correct, and Baloyi said, yes, indeed. We tried to the best of our ability to mediate. Did you really? But it's about circumcision of powers in terms of the Correctional Services Act. The judge reiterated that there was nothing that they could do. He wanted Muzi to start.
He was not talking about this case that was taken to an appeal. It's the 5 judges about the prison condition, right?
Yes, that
are taken
case,
to an appeal.
Yes. That case he was quoting
it was
about
not this
5
one,
judges.
Ratha. It was a different one.
So Mnisi said that he cannot act against his wishes. And the judge said, so Mr. Mnisi, are you saying that if your client says we must not start, you are not going to start? Nisi said, I cannot act against his instructions. He read accused number 3's note. It was written in Zulu in court. And I wrote it in English because I'm like, But what he had said in that note is that if the court wants to forcefully continue, then they can continue. At if bafuna ukuqhubeka ngenkani, bengaqhubeka inkantolo. But now that I'm suffering mentally, khona manje ngoba ngihlukumezekile engqondweni, something like that. He said, I'm thinking of how abused I am. Cabanga ngendlela engihlukumezekile ngayo.
He said, I am, but I am abused mentally. Literally saying, he is abused mentally. And he's thinking about that. So his mind is not in the right state to deal with the current case. That's what he was saying there, which is, I think, a good move to start with, because it needs to be dealt with. That's why the court adjourned for long. It's a good move.
After that note, the judge Ratha now said that he sympathizes and that he's human about the situation. That's why he was saying that they should bring an urgent application against the Correctional Services, the minister, the director, and they can cite the Department of Justice also. Why was he leaving out Judge Cameron this time? Because this application is to include him as well. Why did he leave him out? His buddy, his friend. So yes, there was an adjournment. They were supposed to return at 11:30, but it ended up being up until 2:30. And when they came back, Nisi said that there was a movement that was happening. There was a consultation with Mr. Mncube during the break, and he said that he was happy. It seemed that there was light at the end of the tunnel. So cross-examination of ballistic expert Malisela Ntini continued, and he's the one who did a microscopic evaluation of his colleague, Colonel Mangena's work. So Nisi started off by asking him, is it a procedure that a person with an opinion has been requested by an officer who does ballistic analysis to give or write an affidavit? And Dini said, I had never done this before, but this time it was requested for me to write that affidavit, and I've done that. So Nisi asked him, what is the procedure that you know with respect to a person or a person who's requested to give an opinion with ballistic related examinations? Dini said, I cannot say there's a specific procedure. What I know is that when you are given an opinion, you're just giving an opinion, and you're just not writing anything anywhere. You're just giving an opinion to the person who's given the case, and it just ends there. Dini confirmed that the person who is supposed to write an affidavit is the person who's doing that case. And Missy asked him, have you ever been requested to give an opinion by a chief examiner, a person working specifically on that case? And Dini said that that's correct. Asked if I was asked to prepare an affidavit in the cases he was asked to give an opinion. Dini said no. And he's pretty much made it clear that this is the first time where he's been asked to write an affidavit concerning an opinion that he had given. And Nisi asked him, can you explain the circumstances in which you disposed this affidavit? And Dini said that he was told that during Mangena's testimony, their names were mentioned, and they had to confirm that through an affidavit. And Missy asked from whom did that request come from? Dini said that it came from Advocate Baloyi. And Missy asked him, did you tell Baloyi that you were not obliged to do it? Dini said, I consulted with the advocate, the office of Advocate Baloyi, since we had not done it before, and we were advised to draft the 212 statement. Sibanda objected, saying that there is no protocol on who must write a statement or not. Any witness can write a statement as long as they are being asked to write a statement. So Ndini confirmed that he wrote the affidavit, and Mnisi said that it tells him that he went along to try and give some degree of validation to the narrative that the state is trying to bring to the court with regard to the firearm by defying their own protocols. So here Mnisi was saying, you guys basically broke your own rules so that you can help the
collaborate.
state. Yes,
what the state is trying to do in a sense.
So Ndini said that he cannot say that he went with the narrative of the state. In his 212 statement, he just wrote what he knows and what transpired. Colonel Mangena agreed when he gave testimony that the process in which you are involved in ballistic analysis is a science of accuracy and precision, which is based on the consistent transfer of marks from the tool to the exhibit. So Mnisi asked him, would you also agree that in an event where there has been no transfer of marks from the tool to the exhibit, then comparison would not be possible? Dini said, what I can say is that when you are comparing the two specimens, then you will find no marks. Then you are going to give a certain finding. And if you don't find any mark, but you'll be looking at those specimens under the comparison microscope. Mnisi then said, and when the marks don't match at all, Ndini said it will be negative. Mnisi said, Mangena comes to you on the 22nd and says, can you please give me an opinion on what I've already worked on? At what point would a chief examiner go to a colleague of his and request an opinion? Ndini said, an opinion is very common. It is part of quality control. He said that on his side, if somebody else comes to him and asks for an opinion, it is part of something that they normally do. So Mnisi asked him, have you ever requested for an opinion from a colleague of yours? And Ndini said, that's correct. I wish here he would have asked him if he had ever asked for an opinion from Mangena and how many times has he done. I wish he could have expanded more on that, but it seemed like he left it out because the next question he asked was, at what point? And Dini said that he looks at the specimen or the microscope comparison and he just asks anyone who is close by and asks if they can see what he's seeing on the microscope.
If you ask that question, just to assist you, Emil, if you ask that question, you would have thrown the question that Minister is trying to actually get into. The question is trying to get into is when this opinion was requested. Was it after the whole thing was done, the whole testing, or was it before that, or was it before a second person was supposed to write an affidavit did this thing? And eventually you'll see that he gets into a point where he says, this actually was not an opinion according to Mangena. It was the same process that the other person that wrote an affidavit, who's this person who wrote an affidavit to affirm? Grobler. Yes, it's exactly the same exercise, not just an opinion. In his own way, it is saying that. So his aim here was not to see if there are favors that were ever done between the two, but the aim was more of I want to see the process that you follow on your side when you're looking for this opinion. Or do you follow the same process that was followed here? Because it seems as if there is a mismatch of how these things or the process was actually done of this whole opinion and whatnot.
Okay, so Ntini said that when he's asked for an opinion, his job is done. Nisi asked him, would you discuss certain challenges you may have had when you went through your job, or you just give him the exhibit and all that you have been working on and keep quiet and go to your office? Ndini said that I will call the examiner in order for them to check for me in order to verify that whatever I have seen is something he can see. So Nisi then asked him, my question is, would you tell your colleague that this is what you got and stuff like that? And Dini said, I don't tell the results. I just give the person the exhibits to check for me. And when he gives me feedback, then I'll be able to compare if he has seen something that I have seen. So Dini confirmed that there is a point where he sits and discusses what he has found with the one who is an examiner, and he wants an opinion. He said that they will give him feedback and tell him that they saw this and that and the marks that are different, and whatever he saw, he will inform him. Asked if such a discussion took place between him and Mangena, Dini said that he gave him the feedback. The feedback was that they were fired from the same firearm, and that on the day he informed him that is the Senzo Meyiwa case. So Mangena literally informed him after he gave him his feedback that this is for the Senzo Meyiwa case, and that's all that he could remember. So Mnisi asked, you can't remember what prompted him to tell you that this is Senzo Meyiwa case. And Ndini said, I can't remember. We don't have a standard procedure of a certain conversation, my lord. So Nisi asked him, you will agree with me that the exhibits you worked on, the test bullets, were known matches fired from the same firearm. And Ndini said the tests are known because the tests have been fired from a certain firearm. So Ndini said he worked on 8 test bullets, and Nisi said that he could see that he's reading from somewhere, and he wanted to know where he was reading from. So it turns out Ndini was reading from his 212 statement. So Mangena then said, Mnisi then said, Mangena told this court that he fired 8 bullets, and the reason for him to do this was that because there was no consistent transfer of marks from the 2 into the exhibits. So Ndini said that he analyzed the test bullet 3 to test bullet 10, and he said that he checked them and found that they had similarities and selected the ones that had the best marks. Nisi repeated the question on whether all the test bullets had similar marks. Ndini said that they had similar marks. So then he asked him, why would these test bullets have better marks and others not when they were fired from the same firearm? Ndini said that the transfer of marks on the bullets is not going to repeat itself exactly the same. They will have those similarities, but they will be the ones with the best marks that are clearly visible. So Mnisi then said, if others have better marks, on what basis do we conclude that they have similar marks? Ndini said that you will see that those marks are sufficient and they are similar. They're sufficient for you to make a finding. So Mnisi then said, if that was the case, you would not go for those that have better marks because they've got sufficient marks. You just take any bullet there at random and do your test. Is that not so? If your explanation is anything to go by, Ndini said that you can recall, I said that after checking all the tests, I picked on a comparison microscope. You can put the test in exhibit and check the similarities. He went on about how he conducts the tests and said that he cannot say specifically that it is his test. So here, Nisi was asking literally for whether since he's saying that these had similar marks, how come he couldn't just randomly take any bullet? He had to go on and look for the one that had marks that were more visible. However, he's saying that all of the test bullets had similar marks. If they had similar marks, then it should have been easy to just pick random marks, right? So why didn't he do that instead?
He eventually tries to say he did that, but I think he was caught with the pens down here. I mean, it was, in my opinion, it sounded like he was lying.
Okay, so guys, I'm gonna take a small break here and take a body break, Mr. Anonymous, so we can open the lines. I'll finish if you guys don't call in. For now, I'd just like for you guys to call in and give me a bit of a body break. I need to do something. Mr. Lonza,
You need a body break.
I need a body break.
Let's see what I can get you. Guys, the lines are open.
You guys can call in. I'll be back. I promise soon.
Just trying to find. Okay, good. I think we are all set. Zanzi, hello.
Hey, hello, can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
Okay, good, thank you, Mr. Anonymous. How you doing? Hello, Emily. Long time.
Hi.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, but I've been viewing. I've just been, just in the background. But let me get my comment out quick. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about um this, this case is like is going far-reaching up the rank, and it could be up to these people, the number one and number two, and all these people in the country. I don't think it's that difficult. I think this case is more simple than it is. I think the two people at the bottom and the top of this whole thing, it goes down to Chico and it goes down to Ganinda. And it doesn't get more complicated than that. Um, Initially, the cover up from the house, that was Chico. He was called, he took care of his son, his foot, his blood, and all of that. And then him being a celebrity, it's not uncommon that he has friendships with celebrities. I'm sorry, excuse me. The fact that Chico is a celebrity is not uncommon that he might have relationships in like law enforcement and stuff like that. And I think that he might have made a phone call or got situated with Ganinda, and somehow he inserted himself into this 375 issue. Not to say that he was there from the beginning or that he was not there from the beginning, but I think once he got there, is the point. Um, and I think he can do a lot from his position. He was in intelligence and he eventually got to cold case. Those kind of departments might not be on top, but they have far reaching powers. So my point is that I don't think it takes a president or a minister or these commissioners to do all these things that people are thinking. I think it comes down to the right corrupt man in the police, and then the guy with all the money on top, such as Chico. That's what I think. Um, yeah, and I think people are giving him too much credit. I think he is pretty scary, and he is capable of a lot of things. But I don't think, because remember, um, there were people saying, maybe it was Safiso. I think he said that Becky Chele said that he didn't initially Chele didn't initially pick Ganinda to be an investigator. There were other people, so Ganinda wasn't even picked. I just think that it was a matter of circumstance of him being in the department that he was in, and he was able to get himself in that house or onto those cases. But I think ultimately it starts and ends at Ganinda, because the case itself. Remember what Safiso when he sat when Safiso Meyiwa sat down with podcast and chill. He laid everything out clear and bare, 100%. He said this case of the five accused is simply because the Brigadier Ganinda stole a statement from 375 that said Senzo was shot by mistake. That's critical because that tears down the entire thing of intruders, a hitman, a mastermind. That defeats all of that.
Yeah.
Now, why would Ganinda steal that statement? Why would he steal it? He stole it because he was already put to task. He was hired or whatever by Chico. He said, "I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to tamper my tampering." He gets his hands on this statement, and people are thinking that him stealing the statement puts him on the top, and no. He did that, but the explanation is that he did it for Chico. He didn't benefit himself at all from stealing the statement, other than implicating himself. Now he has charges against himself for tampering and defeating the ends of justice. So in order for him to completely undermine his tampering charges, what does he have to do? He has to immediately get 5 people that can confess, that can say they did it, that can be proven in front of lights and cameras to say they were the intruders. That will be the one thing that will undermine defeating the ends of justice. So I think one case is to block and overshadow another. That's the whole point. It makes sense when you go back 2 years. You watch the first trial. You watch people, the way they act when they hear 375. They don't want to deal with it. You kind of know. You kind of feel like you have a sense who's been paid and who's been, I just think it's very unfortunate. And I meant to start off by saying I send my condolences to Mazarami's brother and to the family of Mazarami. I'm so sorry that she lost her brother. So I just wanted to send my condolences for that.
Thank you.
I meant to say that first thing. Yeah. But I just wanted to make my point clear about that. I don't think it gets too complicated with commissioners and ministers and and things like presidents. I think it's just corrupt police locally and anybody in between who has a connection with people with money. Simple as that.
No, we hear you. We hear you. And thank you for your input. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
You too. Right. I'm not sure if you guys can still call. And while you're calling, please like the video. Emily, are you now ready? But we can take another caller. If there is another caller.
Coming across.
But so far, seems as if there is no one. You can continue, Emily. You are good to go.
Okay, so Ndini said that if you can recall, he said that after checking all the tests, he picked up on a comparison microscope. You can put the test and the exhibit and check the similarities, and he went on about how he conducts the tests and said he cannot say specifically why that it is his test. So Mnisi said that the explanation is too clouded and repeated the question again. So they went on and on around this particular question because Ndini could not quite answer it in a way that made sense. Okay, so Ndini said that he had 8 tests and checked the tests against each other, and after checking he picked up one, and he cannot specifically say which one in order to compare it with the exhibit. Ndini repeated the question again, and Ndini repeated his very confusing answer again, and the judge said that it is a matter of language, saying that they have similar marks, but one may have more pronounced marks. That's how he understood it.
Very sneaky.
Galile.
Very
Edit
sneaky.
again. He started with these things of his. Okay. So Ndini said that he confirmed it with the judge to be what he was saying, and he said that it is correct. Nisi laughed, saying that it is unfortunate that he expected the answer to come from the witness, because he heard him very well when he said that he compared 8 bullets and found them to be similar, and then picked up the one with better marks. But if they were similar, why did he not pick a random one? Dini now said that he cannot say exactly which marks, as he had not written anything down. All that he said is that he found similarities and concluded that they were fired from the same firearm. So Mnisi then asked him, say, you see, that's the problem. I'm not talking to a layman. I'm talking to an expert. Is that not so? An expert who applied science on certain exhibits. Mnisi said that he was reminded of a pathologist who was testifying in court and said that the cause of death was aspasia. The court asked him how did that happen, and the doctor said that he had not written it down. So whether it was brought on by strangulation, aspasia, from what I found out, is suffocation or some kind of death that has to do with the throat incident. So whether it was brought on by strangulation, suffocation, or loss of blood, he could not explain. That is exactly what Ndini was doing. So he was saying that he was telling the court that the bullets were similar, but similar in what respect? How that happened, we don't know. And Ndini still insisted that the similarities he found made him make the particular finding, and he said that he was given an opinion or giving an opinion and he did not write it down. Nisi threw shade at him and said that is how experts do things. I don't doubt your level of expertise, he said to him, but I'm asking, is that how experts do their analysis? They don't write anything. They put everything in their head and then forget. And Dini said that the chief examiner is the one who writes down their findings. The person who does the verification will also write their findings. The people that are giving their opinion, they don't write. So Mnisi asked him, have you come here as an opinion giver or as an expert? And Dini said he gave his opinion. So we are going to refer to you as an expert, Mnisi asked. The judge interfered here, and he reminded Mnisi that he said that he doesn't doubt his expertise. Well, Nisi said initially he said that. And the judge is saying, but now you are investigating and querying the very thing that you told him you think and know that he is.
Rough versus Hypeworth.
Well, Nisi said that was before. That was before because this response is prompted by the answer that he was giving. The fact that I say that I don't doubt his expertise, I say that out of respect because of the answers that he gave this court. I've got no reason to ask him if he's here as an opinion giver or as an expert. Then he said he'd come here as an opinion giver. When you come here as an opinion giver, me saying to you that I doubt your level of expertise as an expert could have been misplaced because you have come here as an opinion giver. Is that not so? And Dini said that his opinion is the opinion that he gave that will be given by a ballistic expert. So now Dini is getting with the program. He's realizing, oh my God, my expert title is going away. I need to bring it back. So not anyone can give this particular opinion, he said. So Mnisi then said, and as an expert, are you not supposed to take this court through the process you went through to arrive at this conclusion? And Dini said that as he alluded that he was giving an opinion, he did not write on the pro forma. The person who wrote on the pro forma is the person who will be doing the verification. So Mnisi then said that pathologist that I was referring to, they had to call him and he had to account on the nature of work he did and presented that in court. Nisi proceeded to ask him.
Is this our pathologist?
No, it's not our pathologist. He's speaking about a different case maybe that he was a part of. He was making an example of a certain pathologist who decided not to write down the cause of death. That's what happened. He forgot to write. I don't know whether he forgot or he decided to leave it out. But the cause of death was not there. After he had done hours and hours of an autopsy. Cause of death was not there. So Mnisi then said this whole process, the receipt, the comparison, and the finalization of the comparison and the making available of the results is all happening on the 22nd of July 2020. And Dini said that was correct. So you have earlier on indicated that a person that goes out for an opinion from his colleague, he does that after he has finalized his opinion. Is that not so? And Dini said that's correct. So Mnisi asked him, Mangena said that he was done. When he was done, he asked for 4 colleagues to check his work. And it was only Mr. Sireo who countersigned his work. Nisi said that he doesn't doubt Mangena's understanding of the court processes. And Nisi read where Mangena said that their opinions were confirmation. Ndini said that he heard the word check. So if he asked him to check, then he's giving his own opinion. The word confirm or to verify the person who signs that, we call him a verifier. So Mnisi said, so check according to you means opinion. And Dini said, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I have to mention check and confirmation. To check and confirm, we are using the same instrument, which is comparison microscope. The person who signs that, we say that they have done the verification. So now Mnisi moved on to how long it took him to do this verification. And Dini said that he could not recall. Mnisi read the part of Mangena's statement where he said that he started compiling his report on a Friday. This is after he was doing the shooting, and he started on Tuesday, then went on to Wednesday, and he was busy. On Wednesday, he was busy on the microscope. So it turns out Mangena approached Ndini on the Wednesday when he was still busy on the microscope, when he was not done with the work he was doing. Yet he went to them for an opinion. On the same day that Mangena was checking, verifying his own work, he also asked for the opinion of 4, according to his testimony, 4 of his colleagues to verify what he was seeing or what he had seen. So Sibanda objected to this question. Now, he was claiming that the question was unfair. There is no time where Mangena stated that he was done with the exhibits on Wednesday, so it would be unfair for the witness to comment on that. I don't think this matters. What matters is the fact that Mangena was not done, and yet he came and he testified that he has to get done first with his own observing and comparison on the microscope before he can call his colleagues to come and give opinions and whatnot. Is that not what he said?
Yes.
So Nisi said that there's nothing unfair there. Everything comes from Mangena's testimony. What is unfair on that? Dini said that he could not comment on that. This is after Sibanda stood to object. Now Dini took what Sibanda was saying and we made it part of his testimony and said that I cannot comment.
Get on with the program. Get on with the program.
So Mnisi said, I can put it to you, sir. I therefore feel justified, sir, in saying that you are standing there as a hired gun. You don't know what you did. You are forgetting what you did as an expert. I'm not sure if you're standing there as an expert or as an opinion giver. Now Mr. Mangena approaches you on the 22nd before he completes his work. What should the court make of all these inexplicable circumstances that you have come to testify about? Sibanda stood to object again. And this time he said that he was objecting to the use of the phrase hired gun. Well, it turns out, he said that his understanding of a hired gun is someone who is paid to say something. And the judge said that there was another judge who actually used the word hired gun in their judgment. And Mnisi said that he doesn't understand whether the judge was standing up for him or what, but he said there's nothing wrong with referring to an expert as a hired gun. Mdini said that he was not supporting any narrative. So Mnisi also brought up that his affidavit and that of Mr. Hrobla were similar, the contents thereof. The wording, the punctuation, the phrases, everything was similar. Was it a coincidence? And Dini said that from his office there was a standard way of writing an affidavit. I think there's a difference between a standard way of writing an affidavit and an actual copy of an affidavit. There's a huge difference there. There's a very thin line there. And other things such as the caliber cannot change is what Ndini said, but they did not use the same computer. When he was asked whether they used the same computer, he said no. So that concluded Mnisi's cross-examination, and Malon Shololo said that they had no cross-examination. When they asked Baloyi whether he had any re-examination, he said that we'll continue tomorrow. So the judge asked Mnisi if he had not seen a standard affidavit, and Mnisi said that it was suspicious. But why would you ask Mnisi whether he's seen a standard affidavit? What are you trying to do? Justify the fact that those affidavits are exact copies of each other? What is happening?
That seems like that. That is exactly what it is. I mean, the judge is known at the end of each and every cross-examination of the defense. In my opinion, he debunks as much as he can.
Okay, guys, we'll see today what happens. I'm seeing that we are not getting any calls.
No.
Go and tell the others, and please press the like button so that the other ones can get the notification.
That's how you tell other people. We
can show up on their homepage so that they know we are back.
Press the like button. We have 400 here. Can we have that 400 as likes being translated straight to likes? Please like the video. Please like the video. Let's push at least to 300 and something, then we'll be able to go out. But other than that, you can have a call if you still want to call, and if you don't, then we are fairly, we come from a long break. We understand it's been a while, but we were tired. We needed to rest so that we can come back fresh, and we are here. Some of us are not just chasing after what YouTube gives. We are just interested in what we're interested in. And resting is part of it. Resting is important.
It's important.
Yes. So,
Important to rest. And then come back. When you come back, you are refreshed. Like how we are refreshed today. Huh?
like the video. Guys, like the video. That's why I'm here. But just to go through some of the people that were here. Mpo, Mabula, thank you. Reminding you to like. Laura, thank you. Zozo, thank you. Malachi, thank you. Let me see. Sizwe, 18, our member. Thank you. Colin Vavidal, thank you very much for being with us here. Just going through Nomusa Katide, thank you very much for being with us here. Sibanda Sikatele. Hi.
Oh, and thank you to everyone who's contributing to
yes. There's someone
fixed.
who sent us money
Thank you
to
so much.
Mukuru.
Yes, I saw Mr. Anonymous updated me. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much for that.
I really appreciate
We
you guys
appreciate
contributing, and it's some kind of a motivation, so that I don't feel tired.
Zanzi, hello.
Zanzi reality, good morning. Oh, I think it's good morning or good evening. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Good
almost
morning.
morning.
It's morning.
No, good. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
And welcome back. We missed you. I don't know, these 2 weeks of break, or it looked like a 1 month, but glad that you're back.
Thank you.
Okay. And thanks to Emily for the summary. I didn't follow the proceedings yesterday. I only listened to the update now. And just judging from what I can see, it is difficult to really understand why you would withhold an ID that will just make the little kids suffer for their parents. They must just give them the ID, man. Yes. And the kids must apply for NSFAS.
Yes.
So that they can proceed with life. That's one thing that I just want. If we have a reasonable judge, and it's a pity. I think I was reading somewhere an article that I think George Baloyi lost his son through a gun incident. I don't know if he has got other kids after that. So it might be a bit of an explanation on why he doesn't have much feelings towards other people's kids. Because if you lose your kid, it's really a painful, I think, experience. But it just doesn't justify their actions together with the judge. And I don't know if Ratha understands the confinement story for 4 years, where just, I don't have anything, I can't do anything. You have to do something, because that is just inhuman. A person must be able to see other inmates and must be able to watch TV, read newspapers, which is just like standard stuff that we expect them to do. But my main comment for today was, Mr. Han, it's not only bad cops that are in Senzo Meyiwa's case. In South Africa, we do have good cops. I was reading an article of a cop who caught that guy, Pakat, the one who was given 42 life sentences for raping people in East Rand.
Yes.
I was amazed at how they actually put a profile to arrest that guy. I said, these are good cops. So I just wish these good cops were in Senzo Meyiwa's case. We would have probably tried to get the suspects. But unfortunately, in Senzo Meyiwa's case, we have very bad cops. And I agree with the previous caller who said the money Gininda got and then he took out. That is the only thing. And there's no any higher person involved there. It's just that probably Gininda has got an influence towards the other guys. High-ranking police officials, and then it just talks with him. And now I'm also surprised how Baloyi is powerful, because Baloyi just talks and everything goes over. But come on, man, the ID must be given to these kids, please. Even if it's a certified copy. But I think you are right that the ID is lost, because it makes sense why we are in a circus. But if it's lost, why don't you just take him to Home Affairs or call Home Affairs to come to correctional service and he applies for one? And then we've got the case sorted. It should be easy like that, but that is just my 2 cents for the day. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. You can still call. Nomsa Katide. Thank you, guys. Let's get some rest and see what this day is. What this day in store for us.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. This is Mami. Thank you, Shanjiwe. Thank you. Let me answer this. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Right. Nanjalop, thank you for being with us here. Let me answer this. Mzansi, hello.
Siyabingelela ngenkulu intokozo.
Yes.
Rise Mzansi ninjani kodwa?
Rise Mzansi. It's Mzansi reality, but yes.
Mzansi reality.
Yes.
Rise Mzansi.
Yeah.
With that Oppenheimer money.
No. Hayi nina ngiyanaza niyona leyo nto. Kunjani kodwa?
Siyaphila njani.
Hayi kuhle man. No, I'll try to be short again.
Yeah.
I can hear most people are saying there's no one on top. Yeah, well, it could be true. We don't know.
Yeah.
But my point is, there are regulations. There are regulations on when and how solitary confinement is used, and it's legislated. Okay, and the person above the correctional service will be setting layers up to the minister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, if myself as a detective or whatever I am, whatever Kininda is, I call and I talk to the correctional service, whoever I'm talking to. That means I'm going to talk to the person of a low position. And that person of a low position, he will then have to look at the regulations. And if that doesn't fit the regulation, this is not how we use a solitary confinement. And then we'll return to this guy and say, hey, no. I can understand you, bro. I can, maybe that's just favors. I can understand. I can only keep this person for 30 days here, according to the regulations and whatever. You see, that is the favor I would expect from somebody from a low position.
Yeah.
But if it continues, if then, as I'm insisting, hey, no, I need that person until he cracks, because the main reason is for the guy to crack and confess or just get mad. Those two reasons. Either they are punishing him or they want him to crack and confess.
Yeah.
Then the second one will be, I'll respond, say, hey, no. I can't continue now. It has expired. How long can you do? No. Maybe I'll do another 30, but I can't continue for a long time.
Yeah.
So if Kininda forces me to, I will go to the senior one on top. Hey guys, according to the regulation, this is it. And I've gotten instruction that this person is dangerous. I should keep him here. And we don't have that in our regulation. And then that person will have to escalate it to another one, because we have the law. It's not on discretion of okay, this is solitary confinement. It's a discretion of anybody, anyone who uses it. It's limited by the legislation, how it's used and for how long and why.
Yeah.
So Kininda cannot, because what's happening right now, this is now pronounced in the court that someone has been there for 4 years. And everybody now is aware. So if this is from the low position, they would have said, no, it could have gone there. No, we have released him. He's no longer there. But they insist that no, the person might stay, and it is against the legislation, the law. It is against the constitution. It's against everything.
Yes.
And the most strange thing is that the South African Human Rights Commission will pick anything from the news as long as it has something to do with people from outside. It don't pick this one up because this is something that they need to pick it up. It's a violation of human rights. This is what the Helen Suzman is supposed to pick it up if they are there for justice and the right of humans.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point in Funuguyisho, if you look at what is happening in this case, you find everything is bad things are happening and they are so obviously, and no one is afraid because no one is afraid that hey, we are doing a wrong thing. We are not allowed to do this. We are not allowed to do this. Now, to finalize this, the judge lies to us. Allegedly, he did a research. He didn't do any research. He just saw a case. Oh yeah, a case capacity has nothing to do with the problem that is faced by the accused in his court. There's no similarity. And he cannot say, hey, I was told not to talk to the judge to Cameroon, or Cameroon has passed. What Cameroon has said has nothing to do with what is happening. We are talking about general abuse or general violation. We are talking about a specific violation. There's a person in your court. It cannot function. I'll stop here because the solitary confinement, people are biased.
Thank you very much.
Ngiyabonga.
Right. City Klampe, thank you very much to everyone. Pedro, thank you. Again, Laura, thank you for the gift. Thank you for being a member. Uncle Nails, thank you for being with us here. Tuli Tools, our moderator, thank you. Mtosis Lang, our moderator, thank you for being with us here. Mlambo Designs, thank you for being ever present. Mavui, thank you very much also for being ever present. Dan, thank you very much for being ever present. Busani Sibanda, our member, thank you very much for being with us. Sisi Venda, I told you, thank you very much for being with us. Mrs. K, thank you, we appreciate you. Caesar 18, I hope I've mentioned you. Thank you as a member and thank you for being ever present. Charity Bonani, thank you very much for being with us here. Let me see people call. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Yeah, yes, sir. How are you? Sikhona njani?
Right, command Mlungis Jonas lo.
Yes, Mlungis.
Yeah, into engiyibonayo mina usuka lapha ku Judge Ratha, uSibanda, uBaloyi. There's so much anger in those guys. Angazi ukuthi from Fumanapi, there's so much anger. Kwinto is simple ezokufana ne-ID ukunika abantwana ukuthi bangene isikolo. I don't see anything difficult. And uJudge Ratha uyathanda ukuthi athi lento is beyond ukuthi angeke ngikwazi uthatha i-decision. Uma uyijudge, zikhona izinto ozibonayo ukuthi la ayikho. Kumele nje ngikhiphe i-judgment ukuthi abantwana bafumane ukungena isikolo, ukunqandela into lezi ezenzekayo zokuthi i-crime iphele, abantwana bangena isikolo. But uyena uzothi hayi mina ngeke ngikwazi uyingena, kumele kubekho i-application. But zininzi ijudge eziyenzayo into enjalo ukuthi no, le mina ngiyithatha ngenhliziyo ukuthi thatha i-judgment ukuthi makayifumane i-ID kuphela. Hayi amane sithi copy or nazo i-copy bekufuneka bazikhiphe. So there's so much anger in these people, and the way mina ngibona ngakhona, I don't see ubuntu kubo, and they were supposed to protect abantu abafana nathi ababanjiweyo, basikhusele, bakhuphe i-judgment fair. But these people seems to the way nakhona uRatha khulume ngakhona ukuthi, do you know Mr. Baloyi that this case is on appeal? So it means it doesn't care anymore because already sekeswe ku appeal. So he must make his judgment. I find that these people guilty, bazazibona ku appeal, then yena phu. So I mean, the way ngibona ngakhona akhonto labantu noba bayabona ukuthi le evidence yabo evidence sake, but ngenxa ye-anger bazohlala bezama up until the way bekukhuluma ngakhona usuke ekuqaleni, they want to exhaust the case lane ukwenzela ukuthi baqedele bengafani laba accuse.
Yeah.
So into engiyibonayo le.
Yeah.
Because ezinye izinto siyabona ukuthi akho nto difficult lapha. Ukhupha umuntu kwi-solitary confinement nje ukuthi ahlale nezinye izibotshwa. Nizokhuluma into eningi, i-safety yakhe ini. I-constitution iyakhuluma ukuthi umuntu solitary confinement mele aphume then angene after ixesha elithile belibekiwe. But here ujaji Ratha uzozibhekisa lecaleni bengathi akho nto anoyenza.
Yes.
Why sibonela uJP kwathi sekuqaleni? Because uthembise ecourt lapho ukhuphe judgment yokuthi uzokhuluma noCameroon. Manje seke sitshela ngoba uyazile ukuthi uCameroon mayebuya lapha ecourt uzokhuluma yona lonto ukuthi makakhitshwe lo muntu la. Hayi cama ngowami lo baba, ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Sibonga kakhulu. Yes. Babeka abantu their own views. It is their own views. All that is said is alleged, obviously. Public opinion.
Yes.
Nothing attached to it. Nothing. It is public opinion. It's the caller's view, our view. Mzansi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
We're good, and you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Actually, I just want to say hi to you guys. It's been a long time. I love you guys. I have much to say about the case. It's just not today.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you so much.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you.
Hi back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Right.
This is so sweet.
That is so sweet. Kensani Mtembu, thank you. Strike Mutlaneng, thank you. Bosani Sibanda, I've mentioned you. Chuku Anna, thank you. Our member Gloria Vega, thank you. Vusutando, thank you very much for being with us again. We appreciate you guys, all of you. Nanjalop, I saw you down there. I'm just calling your name in case. Mpo Mabula, I think I've mentioned you. William Magoro, thank you. Mahoro. Did I say Mahoro? Mahoro. Yes, Masrami. Again, condolences and thank you for just being present and then going out. Malachi, I've mentioned you. Dingan, Lovu, thank you very much. D1717, our member, thank you. Let's see, who am I missing? I'm not missing anyone. And guys, Michelle Lee, thank you for being with us. Nonko Simasha, thank you. Morning, Miss Emily and Mr. Anonymous. Welcome back. Yes, we are back. Popular by popular demand.
Back by popular demand.
We are here. Tandega Zondi, much love. Thank you, Zozo Mashangu. We appreciate you. Shingi, thank you very much, and that's it, Emily. Gaivala Minala, it has been that much until
we'll see you
today.
Tomorrow or today.
Thank you.
I don't know, but later.
Let's push them like buttons.
Where's
on
that
our
like
way
button,
out.
guys?
Like
And
buttons.
let's see what unravels in that court today.
It's a long day tomorrow. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day of one person who's in the stand right now.
Yes.
Because they're going to resuscitate everything, bring it back, and trust this guy to do that. Trust him, Sibanda. He's a right person, because I don't think the person who's supposed to come is probably ready. But yeah, it's gonna be a painful one. Hey, tomorrow, at least you have energy, you rested. Right. Thank you guys. It's a bye from us.